Welcome to our panel this morning on exporting basics. We are going to be covering the types of goods and services that can be exported, assessing your business readiness, determining when you are ready to export, identify financial opportunities to help you get your export business off the ground, and other great things that you'll hear from our panelists this morning. I want to just introduce our three panelists, aside from me. My name is Nancy Poleger. I'm the president of the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. We have 10,000 members and subscribers here in New York City and represent the voice of 100,000 businesses in Manhattan. So we're very keen on supporting small businesses. We have a very large global component to our chamber and help small businesses understand the global marketplace. Ryan Hollowell is currently the International Trade Specialist representing the U.S. Department of Commerce in New York, excuse me, the Export Assistance Center in Manhattan, where he's been serving for 2.5 years, and he focuses covering renewable energy, oil and gas, financial services, automotive, aerospace, defense, as well as safety and security. He's a real expert in these areas. Before joining the U.S. Department of Commerce, Ryan spent 2 years on Capitol Hill working for a 12-term congressman, and additional 2 years with a lobbying firm where he assisted the startup of their climate change lobbying practice. In addition to his current work with the Department of Commerce, Ryan teaches a course on international trade at Baruch College here in the city and volunteers his efforts with BPeace, an international charity that focuses on assisting local entrepreneurs with best practices for business development and job creation in Afghanistan, El Salvador, and Rwanda. Ryan is also active with our chamber and our Green Committee and our young professionals and also in our energy sector. He holds an MBA in finance and a Bachelor of Arts in International Business from Xavier University. Welcome, Ryan. Arnon Rosan, to his right, is the president and CEO of Signature Fencing and Flooring Systems, which is a manufacturer of modular flooring and fencing systems for various applications. Prior to founding Signature Fencing and Flooring, he was a founder and managing partner of Highland Product Group and founder and president of Portaflor. In each of the businesses he's involved with, he has been taking an active approach to developing export markets for his products. Mr. Rosan has participated in the Export to Japan Study Program, the Department of Commerce's Gold Key Service, and other export-related initiatives. He has traveled extensively and enjoys traveling both for work and with his family to unique destinations worldwide. He received a BA in economics from Cornell University and an MBA from the New York University Stern School of Business here in the city. Welcome. And our final panelist this morning is Andrew Sherman, who is a partner in the firm of Jones Day, located in Washington, D.C. He came up this morning on the train. So welcome and congratulations in making it here. His practice focuses on global M&A and growth strategy. He has written 18 books, not 17, but 18 books on business growth strategy. He also teaches at the University of Maryland, Georgetown, courses on business planning, strategy, and entrepreneurship. So I'm sure you will learn a lot this morning from our panelists, and I'd like to begin. One of the things that we determined in discussing how we wanted to approach helping you today was that we wanted to try to cover 3 topics in a very short period of time. The first one is basically trying to assess whether your company is ready to export, and how do you develop an export plan. The second will be what resources are out there to help you in determining whether you're ready, and also then how do you reach out to the market. And the final would be what assistance is there to help with financing. We know that there's a financing panel this afternoon, so I'm sure you'll get into a lot more details in that panel, but this will give you an overview of how to specifically think about financing when you're exporting. So going back to our first topic, how do you know if you're ready to export, and also how do you develop an export plan? Ryan, do you want to discuss some of the things that we mentioned about the time, the resources, how do you decide when you're ready, et cetera, and then we'll move from there.
Certainly. Thank you, Nancy. There really are so many factors that come into play when trying to figure out when you and your company are actually ready to export. And while you're going through this process, I think it's almost paramount that you actually come up with an export strategy. Much like your domestic business plan, you should also have an export business plan, where it discusses your allocation of resources, any types of certifications you might need to get, just like you have to do here in the United States, and really what avenues you're going to go overseas with, whether you're going to find local partners, a joint venture, licensing, or distributors. And more importantly, you need to figure out what the catch is for your product. Do you have a great market here in the United States? Is the first question that you should figure out. And then, because when you're going overseas, you need to find out what that niche is actually going to be. Because without that niche, automatically, no matter where you're going to be sending it to, even if it's to Canada under NAFTA certification, the price of your product is still going to go up because of transportation costs, packaging costs, and having to pay your distributors. So you need to find out what that catch is and what makes your product better than the others. In order to penetrate a market, Arnon will talk about a little bit, is figuring out what resources that are out there, which we'll go into, but also within your company. And with these resources, really what you can capitalize on. And because the last thing you want to do is spread yourself too thin where you're taking in orders that you can't fulfill. Because that'll essentially give you a black eye in a particular market or a particular region, and really hurt your business development. And most importantly, you also want to make sure that you're really in it for the long haul. The biggest thing when developing this export strategy and this export plan is to make sure that it's longer than just 6 months. If you're going into a market or you take a trip and say, oh, well, no sales today, so let's try to find something new, it's going to take a lot more than just one trip and one look into a market. It might take a year before you're cash positive in a market because of the relationships that you need to really develop over that time. So those are just a few of the things, and I'll let Arnon kind of talk a little bit about his experiences.
I have a question first, Mark. Oh, yeah. What influence do the cultural differences have on deciding whether or not your product can be exported?
Certainly a lot. You need to make sure the sensitivities of your marketing even, and of your packaging and of your branding, where it's not offensive. If you use a certain name of an animal that's maybe sacred in a particular culture, where you essentially might need to almost rebrand yourself for international work. Or even a logo or something along those lines. And really in terms of how long it's going to take. If you're going into Asia particularly, obviously it's going to take a lot longer. And it's going to be more of a business development and a friendship and almost like a courtship when you're going into a particular market. So you need to be cognizant of that when coming in with the approach as well.
Excellent, thanks. Arnon, can you tell us how you did it?
Sure. So I guess one of the things I wanted to go through a little bit was how we came to the decision to start exporting. Because we, from the name of our company, Signature Fencing and Flooring, needless to say, we don't sell the most exciting latest generation iPod to the market. So for us to make that decision was a very concrete, strategic decision that myself and my right-hand person at the time decided on. Now, it started from just kind of a love for travel, right? So I would travel somewhere, and then I would try and figure out who I would meet in that place to kind of turn this into a write-off. And I suspect most of you are entrepreneurs as well.
And, right here. You want to be careful.
Right, exactly. Right, yeah. So, but that sort of began that passion for exporting.